Okay, so we'll go to question number 4 in exercise 2B. A small workshop records how long it takes in minutes for each of their workers to make a certain item. The times are shown in the table. Okay, so you can see they have given the worker names as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and the time that each worker took to complete the task in minutes is given to you in this table. Write down the mode for these data. So once again, they want the mode, mean, and median. First thing to do is what? Let's arrange the data. So let's arrange the data so we can see the, especially it's required to arrange the data when it comes for the median. Okay, for mean and mode, we can do it while the data is still not arranged. But anyway, let's arrange the data. So what is the arrangement? Smallest value 5. Then 6, 7, 8 is twice. Okay, then we have 9, 10, 11, 12, and 26. So I think when you're writing the number pattern itself, now you know this is the time taken by each worker to finish the task. So when you keep writing this number pattern, do you feel something happening here? You can see these numbers 5, 6. So one worker took 5 minutes, another one took 6, 7. So these values go very close to each other, right? From 5 to 12, the values go really close to each other. But I think you can see at the very end, you sense some kind of a kind of an abnormal value here. Do you see? Because it's these workers, they finish the task within a minute of each other almost, right? But I think you can see at the end here, you can see there is a certain time limit that looks a little bit off. Okay, so let's see what this value how this value will actually impact the sum. Okay, so these kind, you need to keep an eye out for these kinds of values. Okay. So what's happening here? Write down the mode. What's the mode? Mode is 8 and it's 8 minutes, right? In minutes. So mode is 8 minutes. Mean. You have to add all the values and divide by the number of workers. So when you add 5, 6, 7, add everything, what do you get? 102. Divide by how many people are there here? 10. 102 divided by 10, answer is 10.2 minutes. So mean is 10.2. Then part C, median. So let's try to get the value in the middle. There's only one value, or are there two values in the middle? I think you can see there are two values in the middle. So when there are two values in the middle, how do you get the median? You add these two values and divide by 2. So you have here 8 plus 9 divided by 2, and your median is 8.5 minutes. Okay, so median is 8.5 minutes. Okay, so now let's move to part B. So this is where we need to think, and where I was, as I was talking about this value. Let's see how this value impacts. Now they say the manager wants to give the workers an idea of the average time they took. Write down with a reason which of the answers to A, B, and C she should use. Okay, so now when it comes to measures of location, you can see all these three are measures of location. A mode is also a measure of location, meaning so most of the workers finish this task within 8 minutes. Mean means average. So when it comes to mean, you know, now for the mode, do we take everyone into consideration? For mode, we look at the person, the values that occur the most. When it comes to the mean, I think you can see to calculate the mean, we take each and every single worker's performance into account. All the performers, all these workers, their performance is taken into account when you calculate the mean. So that's why normally when it comes to measures of location, out of mode, mean and median, even median, you can see, does it take everyone into account? No, it only looks at the middle value. So you can see even if this corner value is like, even if it becomes 100 over here, will the median change? No. So because it just looks into the position. That's why it's called measure of location. So this is even though this becomes 100, that will not make an impact on the median. Okay. So as long as these values are there, it just takes the middle value. So you can see out of all these three measures of location, it's the mean who takes everyone into account, isn't it? So normally we say when it comes to the measures of location, the best person who gives an idea about the overall group is the mean because it takes everyone into account. But however, in this particular case, do you see that this value 26, this value 26, as you can see, you can see now all the workers are performing this task within 1 minute of each other, right? So you can see these values, like they go quite to a trend, almost close to each other. But after 12, you can see there's quite a gap and you reach 26. So what do you think happens to this mean? Now, you know, mean takes everyone, all the values into account. So because of this 26, can you sphere, do you see that the mean is actually impacted? The mean is actually, this value 26 impacts the mean. So mean is actually what? Dragged forward, isn't it? Because of one performance, that takes extra time. Can you see the overall group performance is showing a larger value than it actually should? Okay, so this 26 is what we call as an extreme value. An normal value, or normally in S1, we use the word extreme value. So in the event of an extreme value, okay, in the event of an extreme value, the best person that we look, the best person to give an idea about the overall group is not the mean. In the event of an extreme value, who is the next best person after mean? Who do you think is the next best person out of mode and median? Mode is the value that occurs most often, and sometimes you might have values occurring often, like even in other places. The best person after mean is the median. In the event of an extreme value, mean is impacted, isn't it? So if you have a higher value here, mean will be dragged forward because of that single value. So in that case, median is the best person to go with when there is an extreme value. In the presence of an extreme value, median is the best person to look into. Okay, so in this case, what do? The manager, to give an idea of the manager wants to give the workers an idea of the average time they do. So she wants to give these workers an idea about how the amount of time they take. So if she goes with this, I think you can see this doesn't reflect most of the performance. 10.2 is it doesn't reflect most of these people's performance, isn't it? So because of that, the best value to go here is the median. So you can say here the mean, write down for part D, you will write down the mean is affected by the extreme value. The mean is affected by the extreme value 26. Therefore, the manager should use the median. So this is the next best person to go with. 8.5, and you can see even in this case actually mode and median are also quite close to each other. So even mode is okay in this case, but it's not going to be working all the time. So normally if the mean doesn't work, the next best person to go to is median. Okay. Okay, so let's move to question number 5. The frequency table shows the number of breakdowns B per month recorded by a lorry firm over a certain period of time. So what are we recording here? We are recording, this is a lorry firm, and they record the number of breakdowns per month. Okay, write down the model number of breakdowns, the median number of breakdowns, and the mean number of breakdowns. First, look at this table, and you can see this is a what table? This is a frequency table. This is a frequency table. So frequency means how many times a certain number is repeated. How many times a certain number is repeated. So you can see here in question number 5. Okay, so if you just write this table, if you try to write this table like in the way we wrote this data set, you can see it's going to be very difficult. Why? Now in this table, we had only a few data points to work with. You have only 10 data points. It was okay to work like this. But over here, you can see 0. Now breakdown 0 means what? They recorded 0 breakdowns how many times? 8 times, which means you write the value of 0 how many times? 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You write 0 8 times, and then The next one, the value is 1. 1 breakdown they recorded 11 times, which means you write 1 11 times. So guys, can you see why this is why it doesn't work to write this one by one? So with the data, you can see that we are dealing with a large number of data, and it is definitely better to go with a frequency table, because it's not there's no use in writing all these points repeatedly like this. 1 is repeated 11 times, then 2 is repeated 12 times. 2 is repeated 12 times. Then 3 is repeated 3 breakdowns thrice. 3 breakdowns thrice. Sorry. You have 3 breakdowns only 3 times. I think you can see here, right? 3 breakdowns 3 times. 4 breakdowns 1 time. So which means you write 4 only once. And 5 breakdowns 1 time, which means you write 5 also only once. Okay. So this is how you do. So you can see even though these values are there only once, that these values it's repeated so many times. So definitely that's why we go with the frequency table here. Okay. So they're asking you to write down the model number of breakdown. So what is the breakdown value that occurs most often? So you can see here, it basically here it depends on what? The highest frequency. So the frequency tells you how many times that certain value is repeated. So you can see your highest frequency is 12, which means the number 2 breakdowns. You repeat 2 12 times. So which means what is the mode? Is it 2 or 12? The mode is 2, because this is your X value. The breakdowns are your X values. Can you see here? This 0 is the X value, 1 is the X value, 2 is the X value. So you repeat 2 12 times. So 2 is the number that is written most often in this data set. 2 is repeated 12 times. So 2 is the number repeated most often. Therefore, you will write for part A, mode equals 2. Okay, so next they ask you to find the median number of breakdowns. So when it comes to this median number of breakdowns, okay, median is the value that occurs exactly in the middle of this data set. So you can see this is quite a large data set. So to get the middle, the median, now in the next part of this lesson, we learn some equations specially devised to finding the median, and also quartiles. You will be learning those equations in the next part. So for now, we will actually go with the O-level equation that we use. So normally we use for median, for these kinds of data, for these kinds of group data, we use n+1/2. Okay. So I will go with this for now, but we will be learning separate equations, especially to find the median in the next section of this lesson. So when we learn the next section, we will go with those equations. For now, we will go with the equations that you have done in your O-level. So n+1/2 for these kinds of data. Okay, so then n+1/2. What's our n value? So our n value is the total amount of data we have over here, isn't it? So 0 repeated 10 times, 0 repeated 8 times, 1 repeated 11 times. So I want to see what is the total number of data points I have here. How do I get the total number of data points I have here? I have to add the frequencies. When I add the frequencies, I get how much the total number of data points I have here. So add 8 plus 11 plus 12 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. How much is it? 36. So there are 36 data points. There are 36 data points, and you add 1, divide by 2. What is the answer? 18.5. So 18.5 means your median is where? Is in the middle of the 18th term and 19th term. So you have to get the 18th, find the 18th term, and you have to find the 19th term and divide by 2, because the median is in between the 18th and the 19th term. Okay. So how do I get the 18th term and the 19th term? So now the challenge is to get the 18th term and the 19th term. Okay. So how do I get the 18th term and the 19th term? Now for over here, you can see here 0. The value of 0 is repeated how many times? 8 times, which means 0 is the first term and the last 0 is the 8th term. And this 1 you start here 1 as the 9th term. So where does the 1 end with? Which term? I think you can say you have to add the 8 plus 11 here, isn't it? Because 1 is repeated 11 times. So if there are 11 ones here, you have to add it to the 8 questions before. 8 plus 11, how much is it? 19. So you can see one is the last one is the 19th term. Then the 2 becomes the 20th term. If you want to find the place where 2 ends, what do you do here? You have to add the 8, 11 and 12. How much is the 8? Because over here there are 8 zeros. There are 8 terms here. Isn't it? There are 8 terms here. There are 8 terms here. Then there are 11 terms here. And there are how many 2's? There are 12 terms here. So then if you want to see the term number here, 8 plus 11 plus 12, how much is it? 30. So 31st term. So 2 is the 31st term. So then 3 becomes the 32nd term. So on. Do you see it? Now, right now, I don't need to go to that end. All I need to know is what's the 18th term and the 19th term. So what do you see here? The 19th term is 1. The term over here, all these values in between are 1s, right? So which means 18th term is also 1. So 18th term is 1. 19th term is 1. Divide by 2, which is 1. 1 plus 1 divided by 2. And your median is 1. Part C, calculate the mean number of breakdowns. So what do you do here in the case of frequency table? You know, when there's a frequency table, I told the mean we should use. Yeah, we have to go with sigma fx or sigma xf over sigma f. So mean sigma fx over sigma f. So sigma fx means what? You multiply the x value with its respective frequency, right? So what do you get here then? 0 times 8 in the first table, 0 times 8, which is 0 plus 1 times 11 is 1. 1 times 11 is 11. Plus 2 times 12 is 24. Plus 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 5 times 1 is 5. Divide by total frequency is 36. And then you get the mean. How much is it? 1.47 breakdown. So average value is 1.47 breakdown. Okay. Okay, in part D, they say in a brochure about how many loads reach their destination on time, the firm quotes one of the answers A, B, or C as the number of breakdowns per month for its vehicles. So what are they doing here? In a brochure means they are kind of like promoting their business, isn't it? They're promoting their business, and their business is about how many loads reach the destination on time. Okay, on time. The firm quotes one of the answers ABC as the number of breakdowns per month for its vehicle. So now they have the model number of breakdowns, the mean number of breakdowns, and the median number of breakdowns. Over here, I think you can see when it comes to these values, you can see we really do not experience any extreme values here. So we do not have that issue as well. Now we have the mode, median, and mean. So you can see these values are also quite close to each other. Now, the thing is they want to show, now they are saying here, write down which of the 3 answers the firm should quote in the brochure. Normally we say mean is the best value to use, but over here they are doing this brochure to show their business in good light, isn't it? So over here, what do they want to show? Do they want to show they have, when it comes to the number of breakdowns, they would want to see what? The breakdowns to be highest or lowest. We would want to see the lowest number of breakdowns in order to promote this, isn't it? So over here, you would definitely go with what? Mode or median or mean. Who is the lowest value? The lowest value is the median, because you can see median is 1, mean is 1.47, mode is 2. So we will again go with the median. Why? Because it is the lowest. So right here, we will go choose the median. Why? Because this is the lowest value. Okay, so we'll move to question number 7 now. A scientist is investigating how many eggs the endangered bird lays in each brood cycle. The results are given in this frequency table. So basically the frequency table is given. You can see there's one frequency value that is unknown. It's the mean number of x is 1.5. Find the value of p. How do you find the p value? Basically, here the mean x bar is what? Sigma fx over sigma f, because this is a group frequency table. So x bar mean value is 1.5. Sigma fx, how do you write sigma fx? Multiply the n value and the frequency and the x value. What do you get here? 1 times 7 plus 2 times p plus 3 times 2 over total frequency is total frequency. You have to add everything, right? The frequency value is 7 plus p plus 2. And now in this equation, you got to make p the subject. So 1.5 equals 7 times 1, that's 7. 2 times p, that's 2p. 3 times 2, that's 6. 7 plus 2, that's 9 plus p. So 1.5 into 9 plus p, 7 plus 6, that's 13 plus 2p. 1.5 into 9, let's multiply. 13.5 plus 1.5p. 13. So here I get 13.5 minus 13 equals 2p minus 1.5p. 13.5 minus 13 is 0.5. 2p minus 1.5p is 0.5. So I get p equal 0.5 divided by 0.5, isn't it? Which is p equals 1. So p equals 1.